Hey everyone, it's Tim here from timgagne.com, your place for online painting lessons. Today I have another tips and tricks video for your painting adventures. What we're going to talk about today is how to paint branches with a flat brush. So what I like to do a lot of times is paint branches with a liner brush, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it. It's a little bit quicker, and if you're painting a tree, maybe it's in winter or maybe it's a bare tree in autumn, and it has a lot of branches, and you don't want to take a liner brush and just paint every little branch. I'm going to show you a quicker way to do it with a small flat brush. So quick and easy, I'm going to have you zoom in, I'm going to show you the technique, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. Okay, so I have my flat brush here, and this is part of my brush set that you can find on my website, timgagne.com. It's a 14 brush set. It's got every brush that I use when painting everything from landscapes to animals to portraits. So check out that if you get a chance. But what we're going to be using is that small flat brush today. The great thing about this brush is it has a really sharp edge. It's a short brush, and it holds just enough paint, but the edge here is really thin. So I'm not sure if I can quite show it, but the width of the brush isn't really fat. It's very narrow. So if I hold it this way, you can see very skinny. Alright, so the consistency of the paint when you're doing branches is I'm using ultramarine blue and raw umber here. And what I'm using is a 50-50 medium. If you're using acrylic paint, you can use flow medium or just water. But you want to break the paint down to an ink-like consistency. And when you load the brush, you want to just load the tip of the brush. You're kind of scribbling back and forth into the paint. Alright, so the amount of pressure you apply to the brush is the most important part. What I like to do is start within a thicker branch and then pull out. And what we're going to do is kind of zigzag back and forth, and we're changing the amount of pressure that we're putting on the brush. So as we get out towards the end here, very thin, light pressure. But since there's so many branches and they overlap so much, you can kind of just zigzag back and forth like this. And you're using the very end of the brush. And again, if you want thicker parts of the branch, you just push a little bit harder on the brush. And if you want thinner, you release that pressure, and you try to zigzag, crisscross, and with that you can make tons and tons of branches. So if you're painting a bare tree in winter, or if you just want to paint a bare tree in general, you're using really light pressure, zigzagging back and forth, allowing everything to crisscross, and creating some really nice branches. Alright, so to recap, important aspects of this technique: you want to have your paint consistency like ink, not too runny but not too thick. We're using a small flat brush that's narrow bristles, so it has a nice sharp edge on the top. We're using harder pressure to create a thicker branch, and then lighter pressure to create a thinner branch, and going back and forth to create lots of little branches. And again, they can crisscross, there can be some little mess ups here and there, and that's okay. It will still look realistic as you sit back from the painting from a normal viewing distance. So if you want some really awesome brushes to paint with, make sure you check out my website, timgagne.com. I have a great cloud set to create big clouds, and also a set that covers everything else. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments down below. Please subscribe, and if you get a chance, check out my website for hundreds of online painting lessons, everything from portraits to landscapes to animals, you name it, it's on there, acrylic and oil. Thank you again for watching, everyone. I'll see you soon with another quick tips and tricks painting video.